In this episode, we're turning the dial back to 1983 and diving into Frontiers, the powerhouse album from Journey that defined an era of arena-ready rock anthems. From soaring vocals and unforgettable hooks to the synth-driven edge that reshaped their sound, Frontiers pushed the band into bold new territory, both creatively and commercially. Stay with us.
Get ready for the 3324 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Welcome, friends, to the 3324 podcast. Eric, do you know, is there a difference between when I speak right before I start the intro and then when I read the intro?
A little bit.
Does my voice change? Do I put on like the radio voice when I read the intro?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. Why? Why do you ask?
Is there a different? Because I feel like I'm talking regular, and then when I say we're going, and then I feel like my voice is different.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's two different scenarios as well. Like you do like the whole intro dealy, and then it's now time to have the conversation. So like, okay. I feel like one requires one mood and one requires the other, and because you have all that intro stuff in the podcast, you don't really notice it when you're listening to it.
So basically, it's a bait and switch. I give you like this exciting, dynamic voice to get you hooked in. Then when you come in, it's a slob. It's a slob.
You should. Well, the thing of it is that you should introduce and then have me speak, and so there's the yin and yang right there.
There you go.
That's true too.
I'm like Eeyore.
Hi, Daddy.
How's it going?
Frontiers, powerhouse album from Journey that defined an era.
This one rocks.
Arena-ready rock anthems. The ASMR.
Oh man!
24 podcast version.
What did I just do to myself?
you started it, so I'm going to leave it. But we're going to take a moment and welcome everybody to the 3324 podcast, 2026 edition. We are ripping and roaring into the new year. We've already got a movie. We kicked off the year with a movie with Spinal Tap, and
a great movie.
We're diving right back into music. So we're going to, we dusted off all the seats. We got the broom, pushed out the confetti and all the streamers, and we've invited Mr. Christopher Clark back.
Well, it's good to be back, man.
Another triumphant
year.
Yeah, welcome back for another triumphant
year.
Man. And we're looking forward to what you bring to us in 2026 as we close out our fifth season. You're going to be hearing that for the next few episodes. You're going to hear me promoting that because Eric and I are still thinking about what we're doing. It might involve skydiving while podcasting. We might try and put wireless mics on us and we dive,
go underwater.
And then we, what's that?
Yeah.
Or what?
It's like Tom Cruise wanting to film his next movie in outer space.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we should push the boundaries as well of podcasting.
Podcasting like in the vomit comet, like Apollo, like the way they made Apollo 13.
That's it. We got to call Ron Howard. And he can get us set up with that. But in the meantime, we're gonna sit here comfortably behind our chairs and behind our microphones and bring you what we believe is the best of music and movie podcasting. And this episode should be no different as we talk about the album Frontiers by Journey. And Christopher Clark sent me a link of the full Journey concert from 1983.
Yeah,
the full Frontiers thing, and I kind of did not acknowledge the response of it, only because I want to tell you now I was there, so I didn't need to watch it. I saw.
You actually saw them on this tour?
Yeah, I saw them in 1983 on this tour.
Oh wow!
So I kind of
awesome.
I'm like I don't want to ruin it by telling them in advance, but I saw them at Nassau Coliseum. No, Meadowland.
That's awesome.
That was May of 1983 with Mr. Brian Cuts Like a Knife Adams opening.
He opened.
Yes.
That's a really good bill.
He only had Cuts Like a Knife, though. He wasn't the big Brian Adams yet. He was just like
wasn't Reckless.
Hit. Yeah, Reckless hadn't come out yet. He was pre that. He was but
fresh from helping Kiss write Creatures of the Night.
There you go. Yeah, and touring with Journey in between. So yeah, I did see them on that tour, and I do remember some of it as well. It was a really good show. Anyway. Let's get into the stats of this album. This is where we give you some factual information to help center and cement conversation as we then spin into wild conspiracy theories. This was released in February of 1983, produced by Mike Stone and Kevin Elson. Stone also produced Escape, which was the previous album that really set Journey apart from the previous iterations of them. There were 4 singles released on this album. Separate Ways hit number 8, Faithfully hit number 12, After the Fall fell to number 23, and Send Her My Love matched that performance at number 23 as well. It hit number 2 on Billboard, 6 times platinum. Big money. No whammy. Seriously. Big money, no whammy. Right?
Yeah.
Another big one. I think Escape might have been 9 million. So comparatively didn't hit the same heights, but 6 million. And at the time,
not too shabby for
not shabby.
Nope. Right.
No, not at all.
Not too shabby at all. As I said in the beginning, this album, Journey understood the assignment on this album.
Yeah, they did.
Arena rock is like, Escape kind of, they put it all together. They figured out everything with Escape, and kind of figured out Steve Perry and, like kind of the whole thing. And then Frontiers just kind of brings them into the 80s. And I feel in the right way. Erica, what do you feel about that? Because yes,
absolutely.
A lot of people, let me center this. Let me kick it to you. A lot of people, when I've read reviews of this album, I don't necessarily agree with it, but a lot of reviews lament that it's very synth heavy. Like Jonathan Cain is all over the place with synths. Now, I'm going to disagree with that. Yeah, there's synths there, but I don't think it's over the top. But go ahead, Eric. Where are you?
That's fair. It's fair because it's heavy. But but Neil Schon on this album, my God.
Oh, he's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you especially side 2. Yeah. Which is what, before we came on, I was actually surprised. I had forgotten just how so much more. I would say more mature this album is compared to Escape. To me, this doesn't evoke. I'm often left to wonder how many teenage girls, did they appreciate this album half as much as they appreciated Escape?
Probably the first side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the ballad.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, man, this is an album that is, somewhat. Are they trying to be? It's a little bit heavier. I dare say, maybe a bit proggish in some cases.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at the album cover; it evokes for me. The first thing I think of is Heavy Metal magazine, like the cover of the album, some of the songs, some of the tracks that didn't make the album. You got one song that ended up on the Tron soundtrack.
Yeah.
So they were kind of tapping into that the 80s sort of, maybe the whole cinematic fantasy, sci-fi fantasy thing, some of this music I think would be the perfect soundtrack for films like that. The only song that I felt would have been the outlier is Only the Young, which did not appear on this. Was on the Vision Quest soundtrack.
It was a top 10 hit.
But that speaks to, to me, that album sort of fits more, I would think, on Escape than this record.
Really?
So it's almost, I think it's a bless. I think the album could have benefited from it. One more hit wouldn't have hurt. But on the other hand, I think I'm kind of glad they left it off, especially when considering the second side and what they were trying to do there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so,
interesting.
Or they did do, I should say. Yeah.
Where do you land on that?
I honestly, to Eric's point, I went and listened to the 4 cuts after I finished listening to the record again today, and I know Only the Young was a hit, and it was it really was it was a hit single in its own right. But if you listen to the record, it would have taken you out of it didn't sound like the rest of Frontiers either. It did to me. It didn't have that keyboard guitar driven sound in the same way that a lot of the other tracks did. To me, I don't know that it would, especially that you had two and a half ballads on the first side. I don't know that it would have fit. It would have been overkill, or it just wouldn't have. The sequence wise, I don't think there was really a good place for it.
Interesting.
The song, one of the songs that replaced it is one of my favorite songs on the record. So that was part of it for me too.
What was that? That was Rubicon, right?
No, it was
No, back talk was one, and I think.
Oh god,
Right? Back Talk was inserted in at the 11th, like it was like the 11th hour. You know,
wasn't it Troubled Child too? Didn't they replace it with like 2 songs, Troubled Child?
Yeah, because Ask the Lonely and Only the Young were on the album, and they were on the album, and they were pulled at like the 11th hour. Saying get rid of it. You know, we need to. I don't know. We're going to use these songs for something else, but.
I mean, vibe wise, I think these songs, whether you can argue whether or not they're better or more, would have sold more copies or whatever, but I think as far as the vibe of the record, those 2 songs fit better with the overall vibe of the album than the ones that they took off.
I think Back Talk, if you took Back Talk out and you put in Only the Young in its exact same spot, I think it would have cemented that side too. It really would have. It would have just smacked it out of the park. Not that Let me talk about. Let me tell you what I wrote about Back Talk. and
that's definitely not the best song on the record.
But the more I listen to it, the more it. And Eric, I think Eric might be able to appreciate where I'm coming from. Back Talk sounds like it's a song that would have been recorded by Queen for the game.
Yeah, that's
like that. It's not suited to Steve Perry's style. It's more suited to Freddie Mercury, like the way he's like. Kind of not shouting lyrics, but speaking lyrics, and it just has that. It has like that "Don't Try Suicide," the game feel to it. Yeah, and listen to it again. Even down to the guitar solo, it's very much structured like a Queen song, almost like And I'm picturing Freddie Mercury singing Back Talk. And I'm like, that was probably better suited to him. But so if you pulled that out for my money, and put in Only the Young. You might have. It probably would have given them a 5th single easily to release, right? And it probably would have. And why couldn't you have put it on the album and then put it on a soundtrack 2 years later? I mean, who cares? It's not like that hasn't been done before.
I actually thought that was the case. I had forgotten, because it had been a while.
It didn't show up till like their greatest hits or something on a journey.
Yeah. Yep. Right, but I had thought that that song was on the album. I think I might have seen. I actually saw the movie Vision Quest, so it was so it was great to hear the song. And I'm thinking, well, it has to be on the new Journey album.
Yeah, it was recorded by it was recorded by somebody else first, and I forget who it was. I read it today, and I can't remember the artist for the. Oh, it was Scandal. I think Scandal recorded it.
Yeah, they did
before they did
of it too. Yeah. So
that makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, let's what I like to do. We sometimes is we like to center the album in the year that it was released with what else was going on at the time. At the time, you had Synchronicity by The Police. You had War by U2. You had She's So Unusual by Cyndi Lauper out. That was her debut. Let's Dance by David Bowie. Pyromania, who were probably like the kindred spirits of like the when I was thinking about arena rock, I was thinking about our Pyromania episode, Eric, and how that album is so ready for arenas, much like this, and then Pyromania was out the same time, right? We was kind of like put those two together. Speaking in Tongues, Eliminator, which we did recently by ZZ Top. Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, which we had done. Sports by Huey Lewis, which we had done. The self-titled Genesis album, just called Genesis, which I'm sure we will get to, was out. So there was an eclectic, there was some definitely, and we're still seeing what isn't in here was Thriller. Thriller was still conquering 1983. It was released in 82, but it was dominating.
Was that the record that kept this one off?
It kept a lot of. Huey Lewis in the News, I believe, was it unseated Thriller for like 1 week. It was number 1 for 1 week, and then I think Thriller took back over again, or Born in New York. It was something.
But boy, some formidable records that year.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And these guys, also benefited from the MTV effect. I mean, that video for Separate Ways was always on. And I like a lot of people don't like it. I like it.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was going to be I wrote that down. I was going to bring my point. Phenomenal song. I fucking love this song, but don't watch the video.
Really? I like the video.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
think it's fun when they do stuff like that, as
Or
opposed to
the-
something artsy that you never see the artist. You know,
I never
Faithfully,
understood.
where you got Steve Perry shaving his mustache. Like, why
Well,
do we need that?
That's something that's a little different. Yeah, that's a different type of thing. And
I
you know
never
what?
understood the loading dock. The friggin' they're standing on a loading dock. There's a woman.
Yeah, it's just they need a place
It
to
didn't make any
Yeah.
sense. They're just air playing and not very good either. Like I'm like, really? You couldn't even try?
Back then, yeah, but you got to
Like
remember
Jonathan
back then they
Cain,
just
just
threw,
like, you know.
just threw shit together, right? They just threw ideas against the wall. These guys showed up and they did whatever
Yeah.
the director told them to do. That it's not like there was a lot of.
I'm sorry. It takes me like the song
I could watch that video over and over. I
is
like it.
cheesy, because of the video, but the song by itself on the radio or on
amazing.
the record, it's a phenomenal track. Yeah.
Great opening cut.
So absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing that this album is the first side is stacked, literally.
Yeah.
So no, it would have been five. What did I say? I said 4 singles. What didn't get After the Fall, Separate Ways, Faithfully, After the Fall, Sender My Love. Oh, Chain Reaction, I think might have been. They made a video for Chain Reaction, so I'm surprised that didn't. For me, that whole first side is just like, chock full of like all the stuff that was on MTV. There was videos for all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you mentioned jokingly the Faithfully video where he's shaving his mustache, but a lot of the lyrical content
Fit the
has to do with
concept,
kind of being on the road.
Yep.
Mhm.
Faithfully is like that. What is it? The Fall or Send Her My Love is the same thing. So there is this kind of, which I like, this through line of, and it's probably Steve Perry because he co-wrote like all the songs, kind of like that acknowledgement and just kind of deal it, kind of him talking about what it's like. It's not easy to be, it's easy to be a rock star, but it's not easy to have a life and have relationships.
Well, that's part of the reason why Greg Rowley left the band, was because they were such road dogs.
Yeah. That's usually why a lot of these people will leave. It's like they just can't, they want to be with their family and they need, they make that decision. And I kind of appreciate, and I like that, comes up a couple times, that it's like, this is part of like the thing. And it's not, it takes a toll. You're getting one thing, you're getting fame and fortune, right? And worldwide notoriety, but your personal life is a wreck.
Well, consider that the Escape tour was a mammoth tour.
Yeah.
That really was huge already. So 2 years later, now we've been there, we're dealing with it. So this is probably even bigger. And yeah, there you go. So it's, so it's only right that there's songs like that are that self-awareness and just sort of hitting the mark. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're catapulted into the spotlight. So it's not like, Journey was seemingly overnight with Steve Perry. So yeah, you have Escape, which is like a monster album. Yeah. And then you mount a monster tour and then you're back then all those tours, everybody toured. All the tours were like monster tours.
Oh yeah. They never came off the road.
I looked at it. I wanted to see when I saw them, and they played like 4 nights at the Meadowlands. And then they played a night at the Nassau Coliseum, like a day later.
Mm-hmm.
So these were like sell out, just the heyday.
And then when you just think about the fact that in that time you also had Infinity, Evolution, Departure, Escape, like all of these like records that one did better than the other, and just like record tour. Like it had to be like so just physically and mentally exhausting.
Yeah, but what they kept doing to get to Frontiers is they kept on refining. They didn't really change their sound; they just kind of refined the sound.
Yes, absolutely.
Like they didn't do like crazy stuff to find something new. They just kind of had their formula, but each time they got a little better. Everything got a little tighter. On this, on this album, things are denser. The arrangements, right? There's a lot more layering. Yeah, you've got a layer of keyboards, but you also have layers of guitars.
Mm-hmm.
As well. I think Escape. What's that?
The bass on this album is remarkable.
Yeah,
too.
Ross Valerie. I mean, why would they kick that guy out? Why they did him so dirty? They
kicked him out for the reason.
He looked like somebody's uncle. Oh, yes, he did. But
yeah, right, yeah.
But none of these guys. Steve Smith looked actually like my uncle a little bit.
Phenomenal drummer too, man.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, these guys were not. they're not like they were like a typical rock band. They look like regular guys. I mean, that's the way people looked, in rock and roll. They were faceless,
And then what I don't understand is how did he end up not playing? Randy Jackson plays on one cut on this record, right? He plays on After the Fall.
Only the Young, I think.
And on the record itself, I think it's After the Fall. But
it was After the Fall, was it? Okay.
I'm almost positive. I'd have to double check. But my point being is, how did that happen?
It was on After the Fall.
I just don't understand how that would have happened.
I guess things started falling apart.
Yeah, I guess.
Because this would be it for Steve Smith. I mean, Journey has had a rotating cast of characters.
Mm-hmm. Steve Smith got played on 3 songs on Raised on Radio.
Yeah, but everyone considers like this the classic lineup. Like they consider
absolutely.
like the Frontiers lineup the classic lineup. And you had a powerhouse jazz style drummer like Steve Smith coming into the fold, and
so good.
His drums are booming on this album. And he really is. He really kind of. Said, you want rock drumming? Okay, I'll give you rock drumming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, one serving of rock drumming coming up, hot and ready. So him with Ross Valerie, there's a lot of that big, just those little bass flourishes, those little lines that get thrown in.
Yeah.
That is the sweetener that makes these songs more than just like a standard pop or arena song. It's like that when you're listening to it, it's like, yeah, those are the extra. They could have left that out, and the song probably would have been okay, But it's those little extra flourishes and a little attention to detail, that elevates it for me.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear it like how we always talk about the '80s polish and the production wise, and they're very these kinds of albums tend to blend all that together, and there isn't a whole. There's just sort of a mid range or maybe even an upper register. Things can tend to sound a little tinny. So to have a bass that cuts through all that, like it does on this album, is jarring. It's like that bottom end is like right there, but it's not just do like one note. Like he's doing some really cool shit on this record. It's just he's
like, jazz flavored as well.
Like, absolutely.
Well. That's why he fits with Steve Smith so well.
Yeah. Steve Smith always had a weird way of holding his drumsticks too. It's always like at the very tip of the end, like the stick is like out to here, and he's like, and seriously, his sticks were like, I'm always thinking that they're going to just. How many times did he drop?
Going to lose them
or sloop? He must have had like something stuck to his like finger, like. Because it's just so odd to me, like how you could even get the stick to even do what it wants to do when it's that long out.
He's got good control. He's got a nice easy grip that he,
I guess,
kind of, not too tight that he's, can't control it. But
he worked with that guy Freddie Gruber that Neil Peart worked with in the 90s. That
the jazz drum,
the jazz drummer. So that's where his style came from. He worked with him before he joined Journey. So.
Yeah. Is there a more 80s song title than Edge of the Blade? Is that
a great guitar riff,
though, man. Blade, the pinnacle of 80s song titles?
But that's what I'm talking about though. When I'm thinking of these cheesy 80s movies, these fantasy like high concept Star Wars rip-offs or whatever the hell, whatever was coming out at the time. I feel like this album is kind of it's a call and response kind of thing with this, kind of tying into that flavor. I don't know if it was intentional, but boy, the music could have ended up on anything really at that point. So I dig it though. It's like you say, you can't get any more 80s than that, so it's just fun.
And how more apropos to the 80s than the fact that they got their own video game arcade game cabinet.
I played it.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, I played it in Nathan's on Central Avenue.
Nathan's.
Nathan's on Central Avenue in Yonkers was the ultimate arcade. They always got new stuff. And Journey, the game, the Frontiers game came out.
That's awesome.
And I did play it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can, I don't know if you wanted, it's not a badge of honor. It's just something I did.
But it's my age. Cool. I heard the game's not very good, but just the idea that
it wasn't.
It had like a tape deck that would trigger off the songs and stuff.
The cabinet was really cool because it had the artwork. It had the futuristic artwork, which for this album, they did not use the guys that did the last couple of albums with the Scarab.
Yeah.
So like Eric said, there's a definite move away and a change, right? It didn't have that really crisp scarab artwork of it always flying or going through something. They decidedly went with another art house for this album, and they got something. And even the artist I read, he's like, yeah, I was looking at something tubular and kind of tubes, and just kind of get something different and move away from what they were known for.
Yeah.
Which was, again, to Eric's point, really just signals that we're not changing, we're just moving, right? And we're refining, and we're doing some different stuff. Escape had Open Arms, and this album we got Faithfully, right? We got the same type of thing, and that's in Steve Perry's wheelhouse. I mean, just let the guy go, take the chains off him and let him soar. And that's really what the more I listened to this album, the more I was just like mesmerized by this guy.
Awesome. Outstanding.
And it's interesting because he can hit those notes like a Freddie Mercury or like, one of those types of singers, but he also has a little bit of a rasp to him, which not a lot of those guys do. So it's like this perfect blend. Especially
on Frontiers. I think that's a little bit on Escape. It is a little cleaner and a little crisper. And I think that's probably the result of touring, put a little sandpaper, and using his voice a lot, put a little sandpaper on it. But I like that. It gave it a little more heft on the regular, on his regular singing voice, but he could still, went on Faithfully and after I think it's After the Fall also, he's just in the clouds, with those notes. Absolutely amazing.
Do you did you ever hear the story about Prince and Faithfully?
No.
I read a few years ago, Jonathan Cain put out an autobiography.
Oh, God, Jonathan Cain.
I was looking for something to read, I guess.
100% true.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the only Journey person writing anything, but he at least his claim is that when Prince was recording the song Purple Rain, the end of Purple Rain sounded very similar to Faithfully, and Prince asked Jonathan Cain if it was okay that his song sounded so similar to Faithfully because he didn't want to step on Jonathan Cain's songwriting toes or feel like he was being unfair. I mean, take it from whence it comes.
He's being unfaithfully.
There you go. But so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, take it from whence it comes, but that was the story that he alleges in the book.
Could be. Yeah, so. I mean, Jonathan Cain had his hands all over this thing too. As soon as he got into Journey, things changed. You mentioned Greg Raleigh earlier, who was the original keyboardist and more of a keyboardist, piano, organ type guy, and Jonathan Cain coming from the Babies.
Synthesizers,
new wave-ish, punk, new punky wave kind of stuff. He was definitely, and he was just only in the Babies briefly too. He was like in the last, he was on the way out, like the last lineup.
Yeah, Greg Raleigh and Neil Schon, they played Santana. Yeah, so you had that sort of jammy, like the organ and all that kind of stuff. That's the early.
Yeah, so they were totally different.
Yeah,
a different thing from what we got in this album. So, Rolling Stone magazine put out a list.
Yeah,
and we have to do an episode on this. I'm sorry,
with the face that he makes, it's but
Rolling
the disdain. Let's hear it. Let's go.
We don't do video anymore, so hopefully you could hear it in my voice.
Yeah,
Rolling Stone put out a list of their top 100 singers.
Oh no.
Did Mr. Perry make the top 100? And if Mr. Perry did make the top 100, where is he?
Well, judging
what was
from
the list put out? Let's start there. What year was the list put out?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't have the year that it was put out.
Right.
But
I would like to think he did, just because depending on when it came out, like, Journey went through a huge renaissance after that last Sopranos episode. So I would say yes, but probably somewhere in the lower half, like 50 or lower.
50 or under. Got it. 50 to number 1.
50 to 100. 50 to 100.
50 to 100 in the upper. Okay. Got it. The back 9.
The back 9, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I would say probably, judging from your I'm going to say it was probably he either didn't make the list at all, or he's like at number 100, like 100. or 99
Gave
or
the
something.
game away.
Yeah. Right?
Steve Perry is number 70 fucking 6. Are you kidding me?
That doesn't surprise me at all, though, man.
No, are you kidding me?
Rolling Stone, I mean, they weren't exactly fans of Journey. I think this record got like what, 2 out of 5 stars. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just,
you know.
Yeah. It. You don't have to be a fan of Journey to appreciate this man's vocal. And there's, I'm not going to say there's nobody that sounds like him, but goddamn, I mean, you know, there's just,
come on,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me that Steve Winwood rates higher as a vocalist than Steve Perry?
No.
Come on.
Steve Winwood's talent. When I think of Steve Winwood, his ability as a vocalist is not necessarily what I think of.
Exactly.
He's a jack of all trades kind of thing.
So, exactly. Again, like, he's not going to be number one. I would think top 20 at least.
76. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Is he a better vocalist than Paul Rodgers?
Absolutely not.
No,
Paul Rodgers is better singer,
different type of singer, but Paul Rodgers, man, he's better than some of those early Free records. Oh my God,
he's not. No, he's not.
He's not better.
He's not better.
Definitely not.
Steve Perry is not better than Paul Rodgers.
No, different type of singer, but both. When you listen to Paul Rodgers, like on Fire and Water, or like, you know, the first couple of Bad Company records, man, like he was a powerhouse. I mean, even Freddie Mercury
from Radiohead.
No, I wouldn't.
It's better than Steve Perry.
Radiohead's amazing. Tom York, I would not think of as a vocalist before I would think of.
And then in some weird world, Frankie Valli is a worse singer than Steve Perry. Frankie Valli is listed lower, closer to 100 than Steve Perry. We will save this list. And we will bookmark this.
This is going to be interesting. I could see some real fiery.
This shots fired.
Yeah.
The other one was the guitarist. We dissected the 100 top guitarists.
I know we're talking about Journey, but where did Paul Rodgers fall on that list, Dean?
He fell too high. Paul Rodgers 55.
I would have thought higher, honestly.
It's, again, we'll save it. The top. I mean, I'm looking at the top 20, and you know what? You can't really fight the top 20. You know, and we'll do an episode on it real soon.
Mm-hmm.
But and what's even worse? Actually, I'm not going to tip my hand. There's actually something even worse going on this list if I'm reading it right. Which is just a travesty, which I can't even understand it, but we'll leave it for
that's a teaser for
we'll leave my indignation. I'm gonna save my rage, and this way when we have that actual episode, it'll be bottled up so tightly that I may give myself a stroke.
Yeah, well, like I told you guys, speaking of Paul Rodgers, I thought about later that Paul Kossoff should have been on the guitarist list, and that made me mad later. Like I had like a rage later on.
After anger, after list anger. Side 2, side 1 is easy to talk about. Side 1 is easy for anybody to listen to. It's kind of like if you were listen to any type of radio throughout your life, you've probably heard most of those songs.
Yep.
I think side 2 for me, I was kind of like, I don't remember listening to side 2 a whole lot when the album came out. I definitely had it, but I was one of those people. The first side had all the stuff. I'd leave it. Second side, like Eric, was kind of a revelation. I really kind of dug into it. And at first I'm like, it doesn't match the first side. Like
not
it's
at all.
Really different. But then I'm like, it's actually kind of good that it's really different. That they kind of like front loaded the album. Here's all the stuff you want. Here's our lighter songs, meaning lighter, like when you're in the arena, flick your lighter on. Second side, like song like Frontiers. Yeah.
Very odd, very, very odd song. Very, rhythmically, I think it's a very,
Yeah, it is. Most of these songs have an interesting rhythm to them.
Yeah, each one has something different. Like Troubled Child even has something different. Like they all have like a different. They're not hooks per se. They're things that make you listen. Yeah, either in the time signature or whatever rhythmically. There's each one has something different going for it.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, like, they're not typical like hooks or like, songs that, like toe tappers necessarily, but like when you first messaged me about doing this album, I put this, I just put the first listen of it on. I had it on in the background. I wasn't paying as close attention to it, but then like the songs that make up side 2 came on, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, it wasn't something I would have expected on a Journey record. Like, I know a lot of the Journey records really well. This is one of the ones I was a little less familiar with. And that whole second side, just really the guitar playing, the keyboard sounds, the different rhythms that they were using, like everything about that. To me, it's the hidden gem of the record. Like, yes, side 1 is like all the bangers and all the hits that everybody knows, but like, to me, this is what would keep you coming back to the record. Are those
side 2 is like the
songs.
experimental side.
It's really, really cool.
Like they do some now, Eric. Had they peppered like the stuff from side 1 in between, would this have? I think the album works because of all the kind of stuff that was the hits is all bunched together, and you kind of get that experience. And then, like I said, you flip the record over. And then you get this whole, like, it's not like it's so far afield, but it is very different. There's not the delicious hooks. There's more chunky guitar work, right? And a little more dirty playing.
Yeah. I don't know, but at the time, I don't know, we're commenting on how good that is. I don't know if that people appreciated that though then.
Yeah. Oh, no, probably not.
Because, like you pointed out, if they had put like, only the young in the middle, like there is no hits on side 2 whatsoever. There's just, it's a whole side of deep cut, but it goes even, but yeah, they're trying something new here. So, if that was the intent, then they definitely succeeded, but as a listening experience, you may, I could see some people getting a little, nah, not my thing. I want the hits, because they're so
absolutely.
You're so used to having Journey be that, and of course with Steve Perry, I mean, it's his forte. It's those ballads. But even a song like "Send Her My Love," though, I will say this, which is actually my favorite song by Journey. That spacey guitar at the end, that's the song for me. Like it goes even above Perry, in that way. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful vocal performance, but it's not as bombastic as he can be.
Yeah.
But what really sells it is the interplay between his vocal and Neil Sean's guitar and that spacey guitar. The choice that he made there to do that. Why? Like I'm kind of scratch. Like it's not your typical. It makes the song. It's not your. It doesn't sound like your typical love ballad.
Yeah.
Song, right? I mean, it's not. The songs from Escape is, Well,
I think it puts that little rock spin. I think it kind of reminds everybody
that
we're
again,
like a rock band. It's
spacey. Spacey. I immediately look at the album cover when I hear that guitar. It evokes that whatever that image is. You don't judge a book by its cover, but in this case, I feel like some of the stuff that's happening on this record, they're kind of tying it in, like Yeah. Why that spacey guitar? It's just an odd choice, but a beautiful choice. It gets me every time. Every time I listen to those end notes right there, and it just, and then it just, and it just goes off into the ether, like the echo, like it just amazing. And
a lot of their records are peppered with stuff like that. Even if you go back to what's the song? Who's Crying Now on Escape has a lot of that the same thing. Towards the end, he starts laying down all those like licks to this like ballady, almost jazz song, and then
but even that song not quite as like jarring as like the sort of the just the way the notes are piercing, the way they're played, just that upper register. It's like it's taking you into the stratosphere. Like it's not it doesn't really have the I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, they don't take the they don't take the ballad exit.
Exactly.
No,
they don't kind of fade it out with him. It could have been him just kind of singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of bring in this, they like I said, I think it's more of a reminder of, this is a ballad, but it's still a rock ballad.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of we're gonna throw it in, and it's perfect for arenas, like that type of a thing where he's singing and then Neil Sean plays that out. It's like that's made for stadiums, that kind of stuff.
But what's even more interesting is like Neil Sean didn't write anything on that song, and it's Jonathan Cain.
Yeah.
So you can almost think that what Neil Sean is playing is what he would have played on the keyboard or on the synthesizer or something like that. So it's kind of evoking that sort of futuristic vibe, at least for me. I don't know. That's just, it just strikes me. It strikes a different chord. And I think it's great. It kind of brings out that, like I said before, that slightly spacey prog thing that I love so much, from time to time.
No, absolutely. I think they're definitely not afraid.
Yeah.
To go there as much as their sound was user friendly on the first side or very MTV friendly.
Yeah.
They didn't totally go like Moody Blues. Like we're just going to try and make something as smooth as possible. Like that we want people to listen to. It's kind of, like I said, it was still Journey. It's just, they're just still refining things. It's just still they're getting better at being Journey is what it is. Right. It's not like they're trying to like change, the way you could look at ELO or Genesis or any of these other ones. It's, you can chart this course very easily. They just get better at it.
But then you start to wonder, like when you hear 90125 by Yes and what Trevor Rabin brought to the group, kind of it's that more rock approach, but yet, so is it, it's kind of to me almost similar in that vein there as well. Asia, Mike Stone produced that record. So that again, there's that less proggy thing, but more, more guitar, more straightforward AOR type sound, but still having those elements. And here, I think this album, is kind of, you could put it almost in the same category as those with those groups, in that way.
Like a heavier version of it.
Yeah. And Mike Stone engineered all of the Queen stuff in the 70s. He was the engineer.
Yeah. Didn't Mike Stone work on the Asia record too?
The first one.
Yeah.
I might even be the second, I think.
And he produced Alpha also.
Yeah.
And then he also produced the 80s classic Girls with Guns by Tommy Shaw. Tommy Shaw is Remember, Eric? Remember Girls with Guns?
Girls with Guns wasn't. Oh God, what was the song? Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard anything on that record.
It was, Sticks is the case of the sum are better than the parts.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's like very, very true.
You can't discount the James Young record with Jan Hammer.
No, I do like that. I was just going to make a JY comment, but
that was interesting. I mean, Miami Vice had a very the Miami
How do you go
Vice
from Jeff Beck to James JY Young?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know, but it was odd for sure. But and you can't even find that damn thing. I tried to look. You have it, okay? I can't find it on like streaming or anything like that. So
I have it on CD. I'll send it to you. It's interesting.
You'll send it to me.
Yeah, what do you mean? I'll
send you a copy. Yeah,
I'm not going to send you the CD. It's mine. I'm sure it might be worth money, but
yeah,
he's nowhere to be found. But anyway, this would kind of start to signal. Also, Frontiers would start to signal the cracks, right? As Russ Valerie gets jettisoned.
Yep.
And when that starts to happen, usually it's not a good thing. Like when those pieces start to crumble, Steve Smith is jettisoned. They bring in Randy Jackson, and Randy Jackson, we didn't know from anything until American Idol's like, oh, that's the same Randy Jackson that was in Journey. It's like, oh, he was a musician. He was not just a guy on a TV show. And then Steve Perry also, and maybe that's why Steve Perry is 76 on the list, because he wasn't. He's relatively prolific, but not very prolific for the amount of time he's been alive and been on the earth. You know,
Yeah, but I mean,
he kind of left the business for a while. He came back to Journey briefly, and then he left for a long time, and only recently started recording again. And I don't know, maybe that's it.
but I mean, when you think of like the Planetary Songbook, like how many songs that Steve Perry sang on that are ubiquitous? There are like I put music on in my classroom every day, and I teach, you know, teenagers in 2025 in the Bronx. Journey is not their go-to, but if I were to put "Don't Stop Believing" on, like they will all sing along.
Yeah,
like,
they know it
word for word, note for note. So like to me, that whether or not he's been prolific since the mid 90s or not, like that still doesn't take away from the impact that he's had, you know, on the art that this country has produced.
I agree. I just think that he's, you know, as far as that list goes, then just being really misrepresented. You know, because he and maybe it is because of that. Maybe it's just because Steve Perry he was around in the 80s, and what has he done for us lately?
I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know how you can discount that guy's voice. There is nothing, you know, he's, you know, if we ever do a top 5 vocalist, he's going to be there. Like he's going to be there or at the honorable mention. He's you know, just because I may not listen to every single thing the guy does, but you cannot dismiss the power in rock and roll and the range. I mean, you know, he's up there with Plant and Mercury. It's like that's like the Trinity. It's
like the ability to pull that shit off live.
And Steve Perry, what?
And the ability to pull that shit off live. Yeah. Like you listen to that 1981 concert, the live album they have, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, you know, yeah, there are great vocalists, but I think touring has to come in. It can't be just what you did on record. I think touring has to come into play. That the guy was able to. It wasn't just he's really good in the studio, but you know we have to change the key when we're out on the road. Like he just, you know, he like you said, he was nailing all that stuff back then. You know, so I think that needs to count for something as well. Is having the goods, but then also be able to deliver the goods. As well, 100%. And not just be moody and atmospheric like Tom York and kind of like like, okay, we get that, but I don't see how that's better.
It's not.
Well, that's Rolling Stone. That's what they go for. They go for the more sort of artsy. It's not. You don't have to have a great voice to be a great. You know, you're evoking. It's got to be important. It's got to be political. Yeah. It's got to be. You know, they favor that kind of thing. They've always favored that kind of thing, and you know, over, you know, just raw talent. Yeah. You know, but there's something to be said of being able to the human voice is the most beautiful instrument you could have, and to have the ability to do and to create that kind of sound is astounding. You know, it doesn't matter what you're saying or what you're singing, the lyrics. Those are the times when you're thinking. Lyrics don't matter right here. I just want to listen to his voice. I just want to hear, you know, and that happens from time to time. And it's not all the time, but
but even lyrically though, man, like how relatable are some of the lyrics? Like, you know, Eric,
right.
I mean, Dean spoke about Faithfully, like Stone in Love. Like whenever I hear that song, I think of like my wife and I spending the summer together and like me going out to visit her. Like to me, like, just because he's not like being political or, you know, like making a statement, like, you know, to be able to relate on a human level to other humans, to me is a huge part of your ability as a singer to do that.
And just his energy too, the way he delivers, not just when he's soaring, but on something like Stone in Love or something like After the Fall, or, you know, he can just also deliver just on a regular, you know, there's a certain energy that he has, even like, you know, Separate Ways, right? He's in control, but there's an energy and a velocity that he sings with. You know, that's just power. It's powerful. You know,
his phrasing is great.
Moods.
Yeah,
being able to sustain notes and phrasing as well. It's remarkable. And you know, Stone in Love. I'd like to know just how many people wrote that in their yearbook. Those the opening lines to that song.
It was a big thing.
Yeah.
In
oh my
the
God.
70s and 80s yearbook quotes.
Yeah.
Those summer nights.
Yep. Yeah, that I spent in my youth. And I mean, come on.
That's like those were the best times of them all.
Yeah. Right.
It was always, you know, guys that it was usually people that like to party a lot would put that quote
That's true.
It was usually the partiers in the yearbook. You'd see that quote, and then you'd see also Leonard
guys with the
Skinner
Trans Ams.
Yeah,
You know, right? The guys
Skinner, you'd see Skinner quotes as well.
The IROC.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. I mean, I think MTV was an important part of this too. You know, we talked about, okay, you know, Separate Ways may or may not be cringe, but in '83, again, this was a fledgling cable TV station, and they put out like 5 videos for this album. So they kind of understood the assignment, not only for making arena rock, but also getting themselves in front of, you know, like those songs like went to what, 23 to the last two singles, The Fall and Send Her My Love. Those were all over MTV though. Those were MTV hits, Send Her My Love. I mean, you know, I think we can discount it. And there was a little consternation, I believe, when they shot the Separate Ways video and Steve Perry showed up and he had cut his hair. Because his hair used to be pretty long, and all of a sudden it was still long, like for a rock guy, I guess, but he had cut his hair kind of short, and they're like, okay, well, like, what's going on with this guy? Like, it's, you know, but I think he kind of understood the assignment too. Is like that kind of stuff is not going to be good for the, you know, for the image, I think. You know, and they dress like regular guys. They're all wearing like members only jackets and like polyester slacks. Like they're, you know, they're dressing like they're going to a dental appointment.
Perry wore, you know, the spandex style of the Escape era. Like he was, you know, you saw him on stage with that kind of thing. But in the video, he's just wearing a jeans regular and clothes, t-shirt, you know? And, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Jonathan King was wearing like a red polo shirt. Like he's
what
going
they were, I guess, trying to push was the everyman approach, right? The sort of blue collar thing or something. But is this journey? Is this our image? You know, maybe they were trying to reach out. I don't know. Who knows?
I think it was. I think they were just like rock, like guys that played rock music, and you know, it was before the image really became like, you know. I bet if we looked at stuff from Raised on Radio, like whatever videos, I'm sure we would see the '80s influence creeping in the probably in the couture. You know, probably the sharp angles and the big shoulders, and you know. The sharp
it was
angle,
like the midpoint of the '80s.
Towards the tailored, you know, the high tailored, you know, jackets and stuff like that.
The Cabarici suits.
The guys that weigh 105 pounds, they're the ones that ones that can pull that off and not look like, you know.
I mean, and then in the '70s, they were definitely like, if you look at some of their stuff, like, you know, like Neil Schon had like the Fu Manchu mustache, and they were wearing the silk,
giant afro of hair,
the silks and the bell bottoms and all that stuff.
They were definitely in the hippie, in you know, you could tell they were acolytes of Santana and that whole hippie movement. You know, from San Francisco and California, and again,
but in like the you know, Separate Ways, where he's like Bruce Springsteen. He's got the you know, the sleeveless, you know, leather, denim jacket, and the like, you know, he's
scowling into the camera.
So you know,
singing forcefully.
Right.
I love, you know what? I love it though. I watch Separate Ways video, and I'm taken back. That's what it is. It's like a time machine. I don't look at it and cringe. I look at it and I can remember when this was on every day, and I'd come home from school. That and Photographed by Def Leppard. Like you could watch MTV for 15 minutes and you'd probably see both of those easily.
That's right. Yeah.
100%.
It's just like, and so for me, those videos are like comfort food. I put them on. I'm like,
and you commented about Send Her My Love being the MTV hit, but by God, you if you turn on classic rock radio too, you hear it all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, so now it's played very heavily. You know, just as much as, you know, every time I hear that song all the time. So it's it's interesting how MTV could have changed, you know, that, you know, certain songs became bigger hits as a result.
Let's go with two picks, but only from side 2.
Oh, okay.
Only side 2, because you know, side 1 is like a given. We know what Eric's going to pick, and you probably know what I'm going to pick. So let's go with the more challenging and esoteric side 2, and I think that's important. So hopefully people will give this album a listen beyond the first 5 songs. Want me to go first? You guys look like you're getting ready, so I will go first.
Yeah,
it's for me. It's it's relatively easy. I'll go with the last 2 songs, especially because they're right next to each other as Frontiers and Rubicon. I think they really kind of I think they really send the album off. Kind of like Eric said, it kind of sends it off into the stratosphere. Like they do all the kind of crazy stuff in the middle of the album, and then you get kind of two somewhat relatively traditional rock songs to kind of see the album out. Chris?
Yeah.
For me, my favorite song on the record, honestly, like, would probably be Troubled Child. And I think that speaks to like what Eric said, that there are proggish elements to it. Cause the band I thought of when I heard Troubled Child is I could hear like Marillion and Fish performing that song. It had a very similar vibe to a Marillion song that I remember listening to. And I don't know. I loved it. I loved the way it was delivered. I love the keyboards. I know people are saying it was like, Jonathan Cain overpowered the record with keyboards, but I thought the keyboard lines on that song are amazing and stuff. So that one I really liked, and I liked Edge of the Blade as well. Edge of the Blade.
Yeah, you had to go with that 80s stereotypical title, Edge of the Blade, Edge of Night, Edge of the Dream, like, anything like that is cements you in the 80s, right?
And it's a very 80s rocker, but
Edge of the Light, Edge of the Darkness.
I love that, but those are my two favorites on side 2 for sure.
Well, I'm going to agree with Chris on that one. Edge of the Blade to me is like I said, that should have been in the movie Heavy Metal. Like that's exactly the perfect song for that, for what they were doing with that kind of stuff. And,
Instead, we got Open Arms.
Instead, we got Open Arms because it
taxi
early.
Taxi.
Yeah. But that would have been the
making love to the woman.
Yeah. Harry. Yeah.
And where Fifth Element kind of stole
a
little bit, we should do a Fifth Element episode.
But that evokes like my youth, my childhood. That's the kind of shit that I was into anyway. So that's when I heard the first opening notes to this song, I'm like, this is, it's where they go. And like Chris, I like Troubled Child as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I dig all of it. But yeah, it took me a listen or two to really kind of, again, because you get in a hits mindset, and the first side really sets you up for a particular thing, like a particular sound or a particular type of song, and then the back end, is totally different, which is good. You just have to. I think if someone's going to listen to this, they need to adjust their mindset and understand going in that the second side is going to be different. It's good. It's great.
Yeah,
it's just different. It's not going to be the same thing.
Right.
Not too dissimilar to what totally different record, but like kind of like what we talked about with Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
Like those first 3 cuts, absolutely. And then you get like a completely different album after that. And it's kind of like that with side 1 and side 2 of this one.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So I think it's, I guess it's a thing is, some people.
How do you go from Send Her My Love to Rubicon?
Yeah.
Like the Rubicon just screams prog, or something, some kind of sci-fi thing, right?
Going back to their older stuff too, probably a little bit more expansive, right? Less poppy.
Yeah.
But I also think you do from on most Journey records, you do get that though. Like even like, Infinity might ultimately be my favorite Journey album, but like you've got songs like, what's the one on the Wheel in the Sky, and then you've got Patiently, but then you've also got songs like La Doo Da, which is like a heavy metal, like an out and out metal song, like as metal as you're going to get in 1977. So like, I think there's always that on Journey records. Like you have these like real like pop hits, but then like there's like that element where Neil Sean's like, okay, but we're going to have this, but we're also going to experiment, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And so it's almost like you have the best of both worlds. I feel like on every Journey record.
Yeah. I like that they give themselves the permission to do that as well.
Yes.
That they didn't, we've done episodes like In Excess Kick where they said, we want every song to be a potential single.
Yep.
Right? And if you're going with that mindset, that's going to really kind of inform what you're doing. And this album is not like that. It's like, here's 5 like that are going to sell this record. And then the other stuff is just the stuff that's it's Journey also. It's not that it's not Journey. It's just different Journey. It's the other facet. We're not just that one thing. We're not just the big ballad, the Open Arms and Faithfully ballad. So, all in all, yeah, this had a remaster in 2023, so you could check that out. It's there are special editions that have the extra songs on the end. I just like to listen to the album as is, because that's, to me, what was delivered, and I'm like, that's the document of the time, and I like to kind of have that experience. So it's available on all the streamers.
Yes, it is.
As they say, all the streamers. So that's going to do it for this episode of the 3324 podcast. Engage with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Also within your podcast platform app, there's might be a little thing that says fan mail or message us. You can also reach out to us that way. We will not be able to respond that way. So if you want to berate us and curse us, you can do that. We can't answer back. All the other platforms, we can certainly give you a mouthful if you give us, if you go at us. If you make fun of Chris for his liking of the Mets, I won't. He's on his own.
Yeah, I know. What am I going to do?
Just like all Met fans, they're on their own.
They are.
They're all on their own.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this episode of the 3324 podcast. New episodes come out every Thursday, but if you follow us on your favorite podcast platform provider, you'll get a notification so you'll know when the new stuff comes out. Because sometimes we throw little extra ones in. We pepper in a Monday episode if we got something going on that we want to talk about. But otherwise, we look forward to delivering a great slate of music, movie, and topical discussion episodes for 2026. So, Christopher Clark, thank you.
Thank you.
So
great to be here, man.
On the first music episode of 2026. So, congratulations.
It's a privilege, as always.
We'll give you a little bell for that.
There you go.
Musical school is in session. So
yes, it is.
That's going to do it for this episode. For Chris, for Eric, this has been Dean. We will catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 podcast and on Twitter at 3324p to join the conversation.